changing. Life goes on and 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 on. Yeah, 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 yeah. On and 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 on. Yeah, 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 yeah. On and 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 on. Yeah, 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 yeah. On and 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 on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Work all day and then I wake up. Work all day and then I wake up. Work all day and then I wake up. Work all day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Work all day and then I wake up. Work all day and then I wake up. Work all day and then I wake up. Work all day. Whoa. I try to be everything that I can, but sometimes I come out as being nothing. I try to be everything that I can, but sometimes I come out as being nothing. I pray to God that He make me a better man. Maybe one day I'ma stand for something. I'm thanking God that He made you part of the plan. I guess I ain't go through all that hell for nothing. I'm always fucking up and wrecking shit. It seems like I perfected it. I offer you my love, I hope you take it like some medicine. Tell me ain't nobody better than me. I think that there's better than me. Hope you see the better in me. Always end up bettering me. I don't wanna ruin this one. This type of love don't always come and go. I don't wanna.
Third day rolling up with the business tour, an event brought to you by the BGV for representing how the daily work life at some exciting industries and companies is like. We have already explored the social media industry with TikTok and also the automotive luxury environment with Ferrari. But now it is time to take a step into the sports industry with Adidas.
Before we dive into our conference, we want to thank all of you who are joining us today for taking time off your schedule to log into this Zoom meeting to learn and experience a different type of learning that is not found inside our classrooms. The SABGV is very proud that for this conference, we have gathered the entire tech community from high school students to exit techs. And now, before we give the floor to our speakers, I would like to remind you that if you have any questions, you can leave them in the Zoom chat throughout the conference for our speakers to answer at the end during the Q&A segment.
And now, to introduce our speakers today, we will be hearing from Rocio Lopez, who is an industrial engineer who graduated in 2017 from Tec de Monterrey, Campus Monterrey. She started her professional life at Whirlpool Corporation in the Leadership Development Program. Furthermore, landing a project manager position for the consumer division. She has a master's in international business at Hull International Business School in Boston, where she was the president of the Business and Current Affairs Club. In 2021, Ms. Lopez did an MBA internship at Adidas, where she served as project manager for the strategy and programs team for supply chain. Rocio is currently in San Francisco pursuing her dual degree in disruptive innovation at Hull International Business School and will be returning to Adidas in the spring of 2022 as a full-time job project manager for strategy and programs division. We're very happy that you're joining us today, Ms. Lopez. We will also be hearing from Ramiro González Toscano, who is a former Tec de Monterrey student from Campus Guadalajara. He has a degree in Industrial and Systems Engineering, graduated in 2018. Since 2018, he has been working as a global operations project manager for Adidas, with a focus at optimization of process, Lean Six Sigma strategy, product development, and digital transformation. To complement his professional career, he also has experience in the healthcare industry and NGOs. It is an honor to have you too, Mr. Gonzalez. Welcome. And now the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I think I speak on behalf of Rocio and myself, and thank you for the warm welcome, a good preparation, and basically everybody's time. As introduced already, we are representing today Adidas, and before jumping into the presentation as such, we would like to open it with a short video. So for that, let me quickly share my screen. So hopefully it works. Share sound. There we go.
Let's do this.
Late. Showtime, come on.
Creative, the world needs an answer. What's the answer? Creativity is the answer. Never play on repeat. Put your own spin on things. Let a new wave begin.
All right, come on, let's go.
2 seconds.
Creators run the show. We want the answer. From the cage to the stage. Rise up from the streets to the pros.
So much.
Creativity is the answer to a world divided. Tear down those walls. Make worlds unite. Flip the script. Rewrite the rules. Creativity is the answer. Now over to you.
Alrighty, there was just a short introduction video to get the conversations ongoing. And now I will proceed to share my screen. Please give me a thumbs up if you can see it. Fantastic. Wait, I cannot see you. So works, perfect, good. So once again, thank you for having us, everybody. Today we have the opportunity to bring a little bit of the flavor of what we do in Adidas. And before actually going into content, I will just briefly introduce myself, then I will hand over to Rocio. Besides all the already professional experience that was shared, important to mention, well, I'm of course from Mexico. Proudly, I am an ex-Tech, so being precisely in your shoes a couple of years back. And yeah, I'm passionate about sports and yeah, anything that needs to go through project management and previously stated, understanding how companies work, why things operate the way they are. And when I'm actually not working, I like to eat a lot. So I'm passionate about exploring restaurants, trying new food, also trying sports. And by the way, I'm living at the moment in Germany, in the headquarter offices of Adidas. So thank you, everybody. And yeah, hope for the next 45 minutes, you can get to know me a little bit better and the company as well.
Thank you, Ramiro. So hello, everyone. My name is Rocio Lopez, and thank you so much for the introduction. There's my professional experience. I'm currently I'm doing my master's in disruptive innovation, and right now I'm in San Francisco. And the opportunity to work at Adidas for the summer as the MBA for project management in strategy and programs in Portland, Oregon, in the headquarters of US of Adidas. So basically, both Ramiro and I were in strategy and programs and project management, but he was in Germany and I was in US. And later we will explain how everything's divided, but it has been really fun. And after my graduation in the master's in April, I will be moving to Portland to fulfill my full-time job as a project manager at Adidas.
Perfect. So just before we start, important to say, as mentioned, we will just go throughout the presentation. In case you have any questions, please note it down. We have plenty of time to discover those. And in case the time is not even enough, we will make sure to answer every single detail. So yeah, let's get going then. Rocio,
Yeah,
up to you.
thank you. So what we're going to talk about today, the first thing is an introduction to the company, what are our values, our mission, the vision, our purpose. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about what we do, a day in life as a project manager, how does it look like? And I just want to discuss the difference between being a project manager and someone who is more operational. Like it's totally different, but we're gonna walk you through that. We will talk to you about why working at Adidas is the best, why Adidas is the best company in the world, brand and company. And also the Q&A session, as Ramiro mentioned, we will have time at the end to answer your questions. And if we don't have time, don't worry, you can email us or contact us via LinkedIn and we'll be happy to answer them for you. Thank you. So on the next slide, I don't see the next slide. Yeah, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the company.
Is it loading?
The first one, there, yes.
Okay, sorry,
so,
then there's a small delay.
There's a small delay, don't worry. So I want to talk to you about our purpose of why Adidas and something that is placed everywhere. And since we get in the company, like that's our motto, it's through sports, we have the power to change lives. And it doesn't mean only like sports related, but also sustainability and diversity, like how in Adidas and through sports, we can change lives. I just want to point out that sustainability, Adidas is super strong in sustainability. Like for example, in last year in 2020, they had 15 to 20 million pairs of shoes made of recycling material. And by 2024, they will only use recycled polyester. So Adidas is super strong in sustainability and we really want to make a change in the world for that. Also, this photo is of Run of the Oceans. I hope you heard about this, but basically it's a campaign that Adidas does in the world. Everyone can participate. And for every kilometer you run, Adidas will collect 10 bottles of plastic that's in the ocean, like of trash. So imagine like everything Parley and Adidas do to clean the environment. So I think that's really amazing. And Ramiro, next slide, please. So the next slide is our mission. Let me check the delay. Yes, it's our mission. It's to be the best sports brand in the world. Basically, I think, or I feel Adidas, it is the best company in the world because I mentioned like they're super big in innovation, in sustainability, but what I love the most also is through diversity and inclusion. And then our next one, it's our motto. If you want to call it like that, it's called Impossible It's Nothing. And basically, day by day, we're ruled by that, our attitude. I forgot the exact word. But basically, Impossible Is Nothing is like our religion. Like, we never take no for an answer. Imagine Adidas, imagine we are a team, like a soccer team. So we always want to win. We work as a team, we do the goal, we have strategies and plan in order to beat the other team, you know? So impossible is nothing. As you heard in the video, it also says calling all creators, or they talk about creators. And basically we want to create the new. It doesn't matter if they tell us, no, that cannot be created, that's not possible. We always find a way to say yes. Another thing I want to mention is that at Adidas, it is a safe environment for innovation. So you can say literally all your ideas and prove them. And if it doesn't work, it's okay. Like it's okay to fail as long as you learn. And the next time you come with something way better. And that way we can all win as a team.
And I fully agree with that, Rocio. And I think that will resonate when we also speak about our core values that we want in the people that it's already in the company, and also the talent that we bring outside the organization. But before jumping into that, let's go into the different brands, right? Because I mean, Adidas, as such, we're talking about a company. And the aim of Adidas is to become the best sports company in the world. At the moment, the Adidas portfolio covers two big brands. So on the right hand, we have Reebok, and Reebok at the moment strives to become the best fitness the best fitness brand in the world, with big focus on CrossFit. On the left side, we have Adidas as the brand. And as Rocio was mentioning, there we strive to become the best sports brand in the world. Just important to keep in mind that whenever we speak about our functions, we always refer to the company as such. As we work in global functions, it's important to say that everything we do is applicable to both divisions. So just important to keep in mind the different terminology between a company and the brand, because we will be using that terminology quite often throughout the presentation. Then just to give you a couple of numbers on how big we are as a company. So currently we are identified as a global leader employer, having a total of 60,000 employees and creators all around the world. And we are divided into 6 main different headquarters, with the central offices in Germany. But also we have offices in the US, where Rocio is at the moment located. We have also offices in the Netherlands, Switzerland, Hong Kong, and China. And of course, every specific location serves a different purpose that we will talk about that later on. But that doesn't end up there, right? We also have 19 different hubs and different offices that go and varies from sales organizations or production, communication with factories, or even marketing campaigns. So for example, one of our most popular offices relies in Los Angeles, where we hold entire production for Yeezys and all the collaboration with our creators like Beyonce and Pharrell Williams. Important to say that if you are interested, also in Mexico City, we have a hub that is mainly focusing on the sales throughout Mexico and Central America. So also if you're interested, you can check that one out. And
I was just going to say that.
We are connected. And then important to say that, I mean, we will hear also throughout the presentation that diversity is in our DNA. And just to give you an example, in the headquarter offices, we have an average of 100 nations being together. So I think it's quite powerful to say that it really doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. So every kind of profile is unique, valuable, and identified as someone or something that could bring the company further, as growing it as a company itself, but also the people that work inside it. So it's super important for us to keep the value in mind. And talking about values, we have 3 main pillars where we focus our people and everything we do. So the very first one is creativity. We are always open to new ideas, very solution-oriented approach, and always looking for this newness. As Rocio was mentioning, we always strive for innovation and always trying to become the trend and make other companies follow us. And this is super important to keep in mind. Collaboration as well. We love teamwork. We know that in order to be a team, we need to enable intensive conversations between everybody. And as mentioned already a couple of times, inclusivity matters. And it's super important that we always keep this team player and winning attitude. Last but not least, confidence. It's super important to keep it in mind. Always be open to new ideas and learning from failure. And that, as Rocio was mentioning, really the opportunity to work in a company so big provides you endless opportunities to try ideas, not only within your specific role and purpose to make the company run, but also to discover new opportunities that hasn't been enabled yet. So this is when it comes to our people values. Then I will go into a little bit more abstract at the moment. So already talk about our company, our mission, our values, our people, a little bit of HR. And now it's important to share with you how does Adidas is a structure and how it operates. And to start doing that, we need to focus on the strategy. So to start, the strategy can be defined as imagining the company being on point A, then defining what point B is, and the strategy is actually the path that the company needs to follow to reach that point B. So this is precisely the picture that we have here at the moment, and I will take a couple of minutes to walk you through it and to give some meaning into what it is. So let's start on the top. So the strategy for this 5-year cycle, who actually started in 2021, the target is to finish it and to consolidate it by 2025, and it is called Own the Game. So everything, and going to the left side, we are a sports company, right? So we need to understand where do we come from, where do we are, and where are we moving? And everything is rooted in sports. Very simple and straightforward. Then going in the middle, it's super important for us to keep the consumer in mind. So everything we do needs to be focusing on who are we creating the products for. Then around the consumer, we have 3 main strategic areas. One is credibility, that focuses on how does the consumer relates to the products and the stories that we tell. The second one is experience. How are the emotions that we trigger to the consumer whenever we go to e-com, whenever you purchase something, so how we treat consumers. And sustainability, as Rocio was mentioning, we focus on how we improve not the experience, but only for the people, but also for our environment, which is super important nowadays. Outside, in the wider circle, we also have 3 main areas. The first one is people. We already spoke about diversity and different profiles and so on. So everything is covered here, which basically is placing the right people with the right profile in the right team. Then on the left side, we have innovation as well, always striving of what is the new technology, what is the new trend, what is the newest product that will be hot in the market. Last but not least, digital. How do we improve our operations? How do we catch up with the world that is changing so damn fast? So it's also all these initiatives that trigger this part. And at the end of the day, having everything rooted in sports, having our consumer in the center, we need to trigger growth, right? So a company needs money to operate. Therefore, all these topics need to come together and be embedded to allow the company to become bigger and bigger every single day. So anything to add here?
Yes, I just want to add or point out that, for example, all the projects or everything all areas do is aligned with this strategy. So for example, us as project managers, the project managers have like a portfolio. I'm going to say a number, imagine 100 projects. Which ones do you take? Which ones do you prioritize? So via this strategy, we see, okay, this project, has to do something with digital, with innovation, making the people experience better, or the consumer in the center? Yes, it's okay. But if not, you can leave it like as a second priority. So that way you can go see which actions to take according to the strategy.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Then just, we spoke about Adidas in a nutshell on what it's, how is it created and what's the strategy and what's the focus of it for the next 5 years. And as Rocio was mentioning, it's actually a perfect bridge to the second topic. It's how is the daily life of a project manager and why are people with this profile required to make this strategy successful? Before jumping into that and just making the drama pass by with the time, it's important to structure and to share with you how is the company structure and how is the value chain behind it. So in this slide, you have 6 vertical pillars that focuses from the briefing from marketing until the sales and the point in time that the company makes the money. So we start with marketing, creating the briefing and understanding and defining how many products do we need to sell, who is the type of consumer that we're aiming, in which areas of the world we need to provide the products. Then this information is sent over to design. Design creates the concepts and gets all the creativity and wild ideas to bring the products and the idea for marketing to life. And then we go into the transition and entering in the global operations world. And in a nutshell, global operations covers everything regarding the creation of the product, covering product operations, the manufacturing and sourcing, the whole interaction with factories, and to finalize it with supply chain management, the whole logistics, inventory, volumes, and all those topics. Then as well in this square, you can see two horizontals. The first one is strategy and programs, and we will talk more in details in the next slide, but our department acts as an internal consultancy, focusing on three big topics. So project management, process management, and system management. Three big areas that we have in every single part of global operations to enable the strategy to be successful. On top, we have sustainability, always enabling or giving us a framework that whatever we do, that it's according to the guidelines that we need to do to trigger the industry standards, and even to set the trends by ourselves. Last but not least, on the right, we have sales. And of course, this is important because it doesn't matter if you create the best product, if at the end you don't sell it, right? So it is super important to create really cool products, but to also have a really nice understanding on how we make the product accessible to the consumer and how do we actually sell more and more, because at the end we are a company. It's all about excitement, but it's also about generating revenues. And then moving forward, just to give you a couple of insights on what we do in the department. In a nutshell, we support global operations to reach their targets towards our strategy. So going back to Own the Game, all of our products, as Rocio was mentioning, are related to that strategy. So everything we do needs to connect at the end. As mentioning, we are also experts in project and process management. And we also act as thought partners, not only with management, but also the people who work on the day-to-day operations. And we try to improve the way we work internally. It's also important for us. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to add something. Like Adidas has a very complex organization. So if you have questions, please write them down in the chat. But for example, there's a specific team. All this is global operations, right, in the slide. But there's a specific team of product operations. And then there's another team of sourcing. And then another thing of supply chain management. And this is global, okay? And then there's the strategy and programs team that gives service to every one of those areas. And for example, Ramiro and I were both in strategy and programs, but he's in Germany and he helps product operations. And I'm in Portland in US and I help supply chain management. But we can help each other, you know, like everything is related, everything is global. So we are from the same area, strategy and programs, and we can have a consultancy for all those three operations.
No, correct. And actually, on top of that, we also have another department or another team, which is the COO head office. And this one actually covers the day-to-day operations of our chief operations officer, which is our maximum authority with regards to operations. And they are the ones setting the pace of how good or bad we are towards the targets that we set for our strategy. Good. Then handing over to Rocio again.
Thank you, Ramiro. There's just like a small delay, but basically it's about how project management works. So as Ramiro and I mentioned before, there's a list of projects that everyone in the company signs up for. Like, you know, like in my area, I want to do this project. So there's like thousands of projects, and then we prioritize, and then they assign a project manager to have that project done. And we work with people from the different areas. So for example, me as a project manager of supply chain, I work directly with them, and within that area, there's sub-areas. So we work like with all of those people. And there's also different methodologies of how to implement a project. And it really depends on the naturality of the project, you know, the size, the time, the budget. It depends which methodology you can use. There's SLAM, That's the one I think they use in Europe in digital, right, Ramiro? And then there's another one called Agile or Scrum, that this is the one that has to do more with technology, and that's what's coming like in the future, or the tendency of project management. But basically in here we put 4 pillars that all projects have, which is basically from how to start and how to end. We wanted to do this introduction before we go to the day-to-day, so you understand a little bit more why our days are like that. So basically, all projects start with a phase called explore, which basically is to ask questions like, why am I doing this? What am I trying to solve? What do you want to achieve? And that's the exploration part. We start with, for example, what is our scope? We need to check our stakeholders. Who does this affect to? What do they want to contain? Are there any risks? And then we have the problem and the mission statement. And then we have some milestones. Like if I start this project, it will take, I don't know, 6 months. I will deliver the first phase in 1 month, the second phase in 2 months, and like that, like you have your timeline of that project. And then we go to initiate. So we start the project, and basically we do a kick off. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this term, but basically it's like we're going to start the project. We're going to invite everyone. Everyone knows what is the role, what are we going to do, and which type of analysis we make to do. We have these roles and responsibilities. How are we going to work? Are we going to have weekly sessions or not sessions at all? Who will it be involved, like the stakeholder or only the working team? The project plan and the stress test. And then after we initiate the project, we execute, which is basically like we do the project, and we have reporting, communication, change management. So for example, when you're going to have a big change in the company, you cannot just go and change it. You need to train the people, make them know there's a change coming so they feel comfortable. And then after you implement it, like, is it working? Is it not working? But that's the handover and sustain. And then we need to know about the budget, the financial tracking, and the risks. And finally, it's the handover and sustain, which basically like my project is implemented and it's working. What did I learn? What would I do again? What would I not do again? What would I change? And also like, how is the people feeling? Like, did you like the change? There's something you can change. So basically that's what a project looks like. Every project literally is different. There is no one, it could be similar, but it's not the same. And you can have best practices of other projects bring into this project. And it depends how many projects you can handle at the same time. It depends in your area, in the company. So for example, in our team, we're different project managers. And for example, I had one, my manager had two, but there was another project manager that had three. And Ramiro, I don't know how many projects you handle at the same time. I think it really depends.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. I'll just go one by one on the topics that you were mentioning. So the first one about the methodologies. So the main ones are waterfall and agile. From agile, totally depends if it's like an exploring topic. We use design thinking sometimes, but you can also go to Scrum. And at the moment, I'm working on a big project, so I'm focusing on only one. That's more than enough at the moment. But there are some times where you have way less. And yeah, I mean, just what I want to say as well, here we have 4 phases, and this is just a high-level framework, right? And it looks very theoretical, very pretty, but in reality, we know that this is just a plan, right? And when we go into the execution mode, anything can happen. I mean, the biggest example was when COVID hit us, mainly last year. We needed to shift completely our operations to make still our strategy targets apply, even though with the constraints that we have. So yeah,
totally. Like right now, it looks really like nice and flawlessly, but yeah, you'll see in the next slide of our day by day.
Yeah, let's jump right into it.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, the project manager day to day is very different because it depends on the project and on the phase you're in. So, and as Ramiro mentioned, they can change you things one day to another. So it's very variable. Like, for example, we project managers do not have like a very strict schedule, like every day you do this. It depends on the project. Whereas, for example, if I was in finance or in an operation part of supply chain, I would do maybe the same analysis every day, or I would talk to the same people every day. But in project management, everything is variable. So for example, this is just a slide, it's a mock-up of what 1 week looks like. Every week will be different. But we pointed out in Dash the recruiting events, like these ones we always have every week. And then the ones that are not dotted, that could change depending on the project. But I would like to start, for example, the 101 checking with line manager. Something we all do and Adidas encourage is that you have a one-on-one session with your manager to see how you're doing or if you need any help. Obviously, it depends if you want to have once a week, 2 times a week, or once every 2 weeks. Me, because I was just starting with a company, I wanted one day yes and one day no, so she could guide me about my project. So that's a 101, a meeting with your manager so they can help you with your project or if you need any help with anything else. Another thing of project management is that you have these sessions with your team for everyone to give their status. That one is called Project Weekly Update. And you decide if you want it weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Obviously, depends on the project. But basically, it's when everyone in the project gets together and talk about what they have done. And then another thing I love about Adidas is that they encourage you to have mentorship. So for example, if they don't give you a mentor, you can look for it for that person, and it's amazing. So I had once a month a mentoring session with my mentor. She was actually in Germany. Like I was in US and she was in Germany, and she was mentoring me about how to do more specific analysis or how to help other people in the team. So that was really great. And then the other thing that is in combination was you can have coffee chats with anyone you like in the company. Like in Adidas, and I believe most companies, we have our chat that you can look for people and like, oh, what does these people do? And you can literally reach out to VPs or to the CEO or the C-suite to have a coffee chat and talk to them like, hey, what's your experience? What do you do? Can you give me any tips? And something they encourage us to do is to network with people around the company. So I always had that too. And then we also have training sessions. Since you start the company, they tell you you need to be training these things. But when you finish the obligatory trainings, you can do them on your free time, whichever topic you like. So for example, I was in supply chain, I wanted more training about supply chain operations or about design thinking. Also, because we're a global company, you can have like language sessions if you want to learn German or another language. So that's really nice. And then we have this thing, I think it's a US thing, not a German thing. We have this time called creators time, which basically is you block your schedule so no one can send you meetings. And that time is for you to work on things you do. Because as a project manager, you deal with a lot of people. You need to talk with literally 100 people of different topics. So they start to send you meetings. So if they see you have free time in your schedule, they will schedule you a meeting, and you will like at the end of the day, you will be like, oh, I had meetings all day, but when did I do my work? You know, like when did I did my own analysis and my own like points to do. So in US, we block our time, creators time, and that means like no one can put me a session. It's for me to work on my things. Other than that, we can have sessions, for example, benchmark with Europe. I was in US, but I talked to people of Europe and Asia. Like, for example, how does this process work over there? Does that work for you? Does that not work for you? What do you recommend? Or I also had like a cost analysis. I went with finance to talk about our budget, how we can match this project to be like more cost effective. We had deep dive sessions or mapping sessions with basically we would map the process in order to see how we can optimize it and find wastes in the process. And then we can have quick wins to how we are going to make that process more effective. There's another session called town hall meeting. this usually it's, I don't know, Ramiro, once a month or every semester.
Depends on the function, but
topic.
it's normally once every three months.
And that's, for example, when the company gives you some news or they launch a new strategy or something like that, everyone in the company needs to go to the session to know, like, what does the CEO want to tell us, you know? So that happens every certain time. And because I was an intern in the summer of the master's interns, we had these events. So that's usually really fun to like meet with, I had virtual events with the interns, but also on my own team of strategy and programs, we had bi-weekly happy hours. So we would get together with like my manager and then the director and the VP, like everyone of all levels will in the happy hour, and we just play like Jeopardy or something like that. So you get that hour away from work to distract yourself. So that's really like a really bonding thing that I love about the company, that it's not only work, it needs to be fun too. And our director always tells us, like, if you're not having fun, there's something wrong. Like, you should be having fun at work. So I really love that.
That's super important. Yeah.
How about you, Ramiro?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just moving into the next one. By essence, you will see a completely different calendar. Just pointing out what Rosie was saying, right? That there is no specific, calendar or methodology or sessions. So I won't go into the details, just being mindful of time. But the key important things to do is that it's extremely variable. So you can have, for example, on Mondays, I have my meetings with my project and with my business teams to align on how is the week going to look like. Then once a month on Mondays afternoon, I have my team sport events. I call it football, CrossFit. It probably is not a happy hour as a CEO, but we take it a little bit more on the sports side. Then Tuesday is always aligning with our Asia colleagues in the early morning and with our America people in the late evening. Also, one of the important things that I do and I really like a lot are recruitment processes. So a lot of hiring happening. So in case you are interested in getting to know how recruitment works or tips to do interviews in companies, you can contact me. And that's a topic that I am not an expert, but I'm really passionate about. Then we also have a lot of, project updates, as I was mentioning in the project that I work for. It has a worldwide scale, and sometimes we just have people with, sessions with 230, 300 people providing them a status on what is happening. In case something doesn't work according to the plan, which quite happen in any project, you always have these escalation meetings happening with all the senior management to raise the topics and give a quick solution. And as well, team working sessions, or prepare for updates for our COO, or prepare the budget for the next year, or drive alignment between operations between Adidas and Reebok, as we were talking about different brands. And the topics can really vary, but the only important thing that we keep in mind in Europe, we have two big rules. So the first one, as you can see, from 12 to 2, empty, so everybody can go on a peaceful lunch. So that's completely, we like to respect that a lot. And also Fridays, if it's not urgent, we like to avoid meetings on Fridays, so everybody can actually deliver all the weekly tasks and we can move on. So it's a completely different approach as in the US. And also as you go in your project management experience, you can always set up according to your specific project, the timelines, the deadlines, and it's always a very interesting puzzle to create your schedule week by week. Then just moving into, before the Q&A, into one other topic, which is outside work, which are the perks of working actually for a sports company and for Adidas. There is a lot going on, and I'm not sure when are you going to see my picture, but hopefully it will soon. There is a wide variety of topics and events happening outside work. I will just walk you quickly through some of them. So one of the highlights is that you get to know athletes and very famous people. One of my highlights, for example, is to have the opportunity to meet Leo Messi, which I'm pretty sure most of you at least have heard the name. Then, the opportunity to meet with people, to get autographs and have the experience just to see these people that we tend to see in TV and to realize that they are real and that the products that you create are being used by them and they perform so good and that you are a way for them to perform. I think that's super rewarding for the big majority of the people working there. Also next to it, I had the opportunity to meet this professional tennis player. Probably you know them by the shoe, who is Stan Smith. Probably some of you might at least heard that shoe, but he is the person behind it. And then participating in sport events like in the last summer, we have the Euro Cup being hosted all around Europe, or having access to really cool products that are exclusive to the market or to employees. So it's a big variety of topics that are surrounding outside the work that we do day to day. So in case you would like to get to know more about it, please let me know and we can talk about hours about this topic. What about you? How is it in the US?
I'm so jealous. Literally, I was like, I cannot wait to go to Germany. So in the US, my internship was virtual. So I was not in Portland, but I will be moving in April, hopefully. But it was amazing because even though it was virtual, I did not feel like I'm in another place, like I made a lot of relationships with people through literally Zoom, and it was so nice. And they were actually, how do you say, remodeling the Portland office, so no one could go anyway. So it's perfect. So when I go back in April, everything will be new. They have like a new soccer field, a new building, and we had these virtual events. I comment you about the interns. They send out packages every few weeks, and we had our own events. For example, they sent me this tie-dye shirt, and all in Zoom we need to tie dye our shirt. So it was super cool. And for the interns, we also had this hackathon, which is called, which basically they divide us by teams with literally people from different departments, and we work on a solution. And our team won. Yay! So my team won the hackathon, and our, how do you say, our award was to present it to the CEO. So I was like, wow, we literally presented to Sion, which is the CEO of US, our idea. And he literally told us, like, when you get back, like, we can do that. So I was like, I really love that this company listens to like our ideas and our proposals, and we can literally make that happen. So it was really nice, and I cannot wait to go back physically to Portland.
Also happy to host you in Germany whenever you have a
yes,
business
please. Yes. And then the next slide. Okay, so this was just like a photo of our virtual event we had with the interns, literally. Like, I'm there on the top. I don't know if you see me, but yeah, I just wanted to show you, like, everything was virtual, but I felt really close to people, and I made like friendships, and I'm still like talking to people I met. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Can you see the next slide though?
I see it, yeah. So very quickly, we all mentioned all this. This is like our small conclusion. There's a very nice work-life balance in Adidas. You can play sports, you can go out, and you can work, and it needs to be fun. Right now, everything is hybrid. You decide to go to the office or to be virtual. There are many career opportunities. For example, I am in strategy program supply chain, but I can decide to help someone in marketing in a project. So I learn about another area, which that is great. As we mentioned, we talk to people from everywhere in the world. There's a lot of diversity and inclusion, and Ramiro got to meet Messi. Like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Perfect. And I mean, just before opening the floor for questions, we just want to encourage everybody that what started as a dream for us became a really massive reality. And as we were mentioning briefly to the people who joined a little bit earlier, it's be open to the dream. I mean, if your aim is to go abroad, work for a company that you resonate with, doesn't need to be sport industry, can be anything that your passion is. just go for it and try, and don't underestimate what you can get to achieve, because if Rocio or myself got the opportunity to do it, certainly you have it as well. So if you have a specific passion and if your idea is to work abroad, be mindful that you are good enough. Keep repeating that to yourself, but of course, work hard to deserve it.
You cannot have said it better. Definitely. I want to put reactions of like clapping hands, but I don't know if I can say that. But yes, definitely, guys. Follow your dreams and you can do it. Literally anything you put your mind to it, like work hard on it and you'll get there.
Perfect. And then, yeah, just a small thing. When it loads, important that if you resonate with the company and so on, if you are interested in the new recruitments, open positions, internships, trainees, or just to get to know the culture of Adidas a little bit better, these are the places to go. I won't go through them. I think they are recorded in the presentation. So if you're interested, please follow Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, the corporate website, or just drop us a note. More than happy to walk you through or to channel you to the right area. With that being said, thank you so much for your time, for listening to Rocio and myself sharing our experience. As you can see, we could talk hours and hours about our experience in Adidas, but we open the floor now for any questions that you might have.
Perfect. Thank you very much, both of you, Ramiro and Rocio. I think personally, it was really, really interesting. Also, you just got me at the start with the video because I'm a really, really big soccer fan. So, getting to meet all these players and everything, it, as you mentioned at the end, it must be a dream. So continuing with the questions, we're going to get these two, which are related with the internships. So Yalil and Narisa kind of ask us, what would you recommend for people who want to apply for a job or an internship at Adidas?
In Germany or in US or both?
It can be both. You can cover both.
So,
Yes.
Rocio, do you want to give it a go as you are the recent intern?
Sure, but maybe I think your answer will be more valid. So for example, if you want to intern in US, you need to study in US. I don't know if you know what I mean. Like you have to have a student visa or be a US resident or however you call it. So if you want to really enter Adidas, I would say go study abroad, either to Germany or to US. And once you're starting, you can apply to this internship. That's for US. I think it's different in Germany. And in Mexico, like you can directly go applying for that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different in Germany. We are actually open to any kind of country, university profiles. So it really is not a constraint for Germany or Europe as such. So, but what I would definitely recommend is keep in mind the timelines. We are very strict with timelines. And if you are, trying to pursue an internship, for example, next semester, which is coming next year, the application process starts now. So if you want to do it in 6 months from now, you should look at the website right now to get to know when you need to apply. So timelines, it's number one. And second is it's important for you to know that you are competing with people from all around the world that want to be there. So it's always important for you to keep in mind why and what makes you the person. Can be your profile, personal experience, your willingness to actually work in a company like this, but you need to always have a really good answer on why you should be picked. So I think those two things, timelines and be having a really convincing profile.
I would like to give a tip too. This actually, they gave it to me in my master's in US. I know in Mexico it doesn't work like that, but in US, yes, and I don't know in Germany. But try to look for people that works in the company and ask them stuff about that role so you build your network. So for example, I'm in strategy and programs and you see an internship in strategy and programs. Call me, like, Rocio, what do you do? Because in there you got insights and I tell you, oh my God, we're working in this very big digital project, I don't know. So when you do your cover letter, you can say something like, I'm very passionate about digital. And they're like, oh, you're aligned, you know? And then you can say like, oh, I was talking with Rocio and I don't know, I really want to do what she does. So they know you're really interested. And someone in the company knows you, because as Ramiro knows, thousands of people apply. So you need to like stand out in one way or another.
Yeah.
So that would be my
Fun
tip.
fact.
And this could be in any company, not only
Yeah, but
Adidas.
fun fact, that's actually how I got to know Rocio. So, and here we are talking about the same company.
Literally.
So yeah, that tip definitely works.
That's so true, Ramiro. I was applying and I looked Ramiro like on LinkedIn and I was like, hi, but yes, it worked.
So social media can make a dream.
Mm-hmm.
That is great. I mean, I think we all love the fact that you guys, I don't know if you knew each other before, but I think like you guys are getting a hang of it and sometimes just speak right here and like friends, and you guys, one is in the US and one is in Germany. And I think hopefully since many of us are going abroad next semester or in 2 semesters, hopefully some of my partners, my friends, they'll be going to Germany. They can apply or they can get to know you guys if you're over there or something. So everyone, I hope you guys are taking note. I hope you guys are appreciating this type of conferences. You never know if this is once in a lifetime opportunities. So pay attention. And just to make almost this final questions, I found very insightful Daniela's and Andres Enrique's questions, and Daniela's ask, which subjects from your bachelor has helped you in your daily work? And which courses do you recommend for preparing ourselves? And Andres Enrique asked, how is the relationship between the subordinates and the superiors and the decision making in Adidas in United States and in Germany? Is there any difference?
Very good questions.
It was a good question.
I mean, I can talk about, I mean, if I understood correctly, the first one is, can you repeat the first one briefly? Just making notes.
The first one is, which subjects from your bachelor degree?
The subjects, okay.
Yeah, helped you in your daily work.
I mean, I don't want to sound cheesy, but actually everything. I think it's a whole combination. First of all, because what I really like about our university, and I relate because I'm mentioning I'm also an exatech, it's how to deal with pressure. And I think that it's something that it's highly appreciated. So regardless of the subject, dealing with pressure, sticking to timelines, at getting things done, I think that it's super important no matter where you go. I think also in terms of subjects, I mean, of course, in a project management area to enter, of course, project management can help, no brainer, but it's so broad that literally everything that you can learn, call it finance, call it economics, HR, anything really, I mean, can help you. But I think it's this kind of discipline. I think it's very important in terms of subjects. Rocio, anything to add before we go into decision making there?
For sure. I think it depends on only which major you're doing, because if you're doing finance, obviously you need like the core. But something I learned while working is that everything hard skilled can be learned. So don't worry about not knowing a specific topic. I think you should worry more or work more on your soft skills, like how to treat people, how to communicate effectively, how to problem solve, how do you say, when you do things first, like for example, right now you're doing this type of events, you take the initiative. That's what I was looking for. So that's really good, because that's what we want in the companies, like take initiative to solve problems. And so, yeah, I would do more for the soft sides, and this type of events encourage that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to change the question. I don't know if you want to add something more of this question, Ramiro?
No, I was about to jump into decision making, but up to you.
Yeah, I want to answer the one on how is your relationship between subordinates and superior in Adidas? This is a very tough question for me because I have worked in Mexico before. And in Mexico, like we all been there, it's very hard for women. I'm going to talk about girls. For me, it was really hard to have, I don't want to talk more because we're recording, but you know what I mean. And in Adidas, it's amazing. Like, for example, a senior director is not even a director nor a senior manager. A senior director came to me and said, Rocio, can you give me feedback? How can I do better? And I was like, why are you asking me feedback? So everyone helped each other. It's really like a team. And for example, my manager was asking me, Rocio, what can I help you with? And I was like, why do you want to help me? Like, I should help you, you know? Like, I don't know, like the whole culture of Adidas, I think is one of my main takeaways and one of the reasons I really want to go back, because everything is about teamwork and leadership, and everyone helps each other to succeed. So it's amazing. It's about confidence. And my manager or the director also talked about failure. And he said to me like, oh, this time I did that. If it happens to you, don't do that. Do this instead. And I was like, in Mexico, that would never have happened, that a manager of mine tell me I was wrong. Never. So I don't know. I'm just very inspired and super happy with the company. I don't know about you, Ramiro.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't say it or make the difference on a country. I think it's more on a company side, because I mean, I agree. In Mexico, true. I had very hierarchical companies, but also very flat. So I mean, also.
Yeah, I didn't work in Adidas Mexico. This was another company.
No, but it was not referring about Adidas as such, right? But it's like the country. I mean, it totally depends on the culture of the company that you work for, regardless of where you are.
For sure.
And but in terms of decision making, I mean, I agree with Rocio. In Adidas, it's extremely flat. You can go to your intern, and the intern can actually bring the most important idea, and then everybody focus on that. So it really doesn't matter the level or the salary that you have. It's more about which decision can bring the team forward. And I think having that idea or that culture helps us to strive and to become better teams. Of course, there are situations when they are super tough and the management needs to come up with a decision, where it's also the team or the responsibility from the operational and tactical teams to equip management with the right information to they present a smart decision, a smart call.
I think that was an awesome answer for both of the questions. Were really, really insightful, mixing both, cultural situations and the organization's culture at the same time as certain aspects we lack here in Mexico, and sometimes is a strength over in certain countries, which we have taken in consideration as us. We're studying global business, and we shall look into these international workplaces for us to have our best experience and development. Well, this was the end of our Q&A session. If my partners want to continue, I mean, it was just due of time, but hopefully we can have you again here or a certain talk after time, just for getting more tips. But thank you very much for everything. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. And I'm not sure if there are additional questions in the chat or not, but in case there were any other, please let us know. We're more than happy to answer them, at least written.
Thank you, Ms.
I wanna.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Ms. Lopez.
No, I just wanna.
Gonzalez, for sharing your experience in your work life at Adidas. It was truly one of a kind experience to have the opportunity to talk to you about your work dynamic and really understand how corporations such as Adidas work inside out. I would like to thank you on behalf of the whole Tec de Monterrey community for taking time off your busy schedule to share with us your experience through this online conference.
Rocio, I think you needed to, or you wanted to talk before finishing up.
Yeah, thank you so much. No, I'm just putting our LinkedIn, Ramiro and I, on the chat. So if you want to add us, we can continue the conversation there if you want.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Well, as Becca said, thank you very much for for being here, for giving us a little bit time of your schedule. And of course, we'd like to deliver to you this digital recognition for your participation in this very first business tour, and from all the BGB community and Tec de Monterrey. So thank you for your contribution and this first edition.
Wow. Thank you so much.
The experience we have had so far has been amazing, and I hope you're really loving the business tour just as much as we do. Remember, this is your chance to expand your job possibilities, to identify what your companies are passionate about and making a job out of it. Because choosing a bachelor is much more than just a degree. We hope you enjoy this third day of business tour, and we're really excited to share with you our next stop. NFL. See you next Tuesday on the same schedule at 3 p.m. on Tuesday. Don't be late.
Thank you everyone for coming. So, voy a cambiar a español, pero si están aquí todavía conectados y gustan prender su cámara para tomarnos una pequeña fotito con nuestros grandes invitados, pues bienvenidos. Puede dar unos 2-3 segunditos si quieren esta bonita memoria con las fotos. Y pues otra vez, Rocío, Ramiro, gracias por todo lo que nos platicaron el día de hoy, por las internships, por los tips. Creo que nos vamos bastante preparados y pues emocionados para ya sea aplicar para verano o para alguna otra oportunidad que salga por ahí. Muy bien, ahí ya vi a todos prendiendo sus cámaras. Ok, va una. 1, 2, 3. Una más. Perfect. Bueno, pues muchas gracias. Thank you everyone for connecting and see you next Tuesday.
Chain swinging, clang clang, and it costs a lot. Bitch, I'm always at the guala, yeah, and you are not badass beat. Keep on going till you hit the spot. Whoa, I'm a big bag hunter with the bow.
Ahí está, perfecto, ya quedamos casi pros.
Transmisión.